Welcome to Adapted, the show where we discuss adaptations of various forms. My name is Tom, and with me is.
Pat.
So, this week we're discussing Mark Twain, who was born in 1835 and grew up in Hannibal, Missouri. His birth name, of course, was Samuel Clemens. He became a steamboatman pilot on the Mississippi, where unfortunately his brother Henry was exploded when a
Oh, I forgot
steam
about
engine
that.
exploded and killed his brother.
I remember hearing
Um,
about it. I totally remember reading about that once. Yeah.
yeah. Um, he was an interesting guy. He was like up on the board of psychic exploration. He traveled around the American West, served as secretary to the Nevada Territory governor,
Oh, I didn't know that.
spent some time with the Mormons, worked as a miner and failed as a miner, then got a job as a newspaperman in San Francisco, and this is where he first used the pen name Mark Twain. His first piece of fiction was the celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County, which he published in 1865. He was briefly drafted into the Confederacy to fight, but his unit was disbanded before they went out to serve. He was later, after the success of his story and some other works he did, he was paid to travel into Europe and published a collection of travel letters. He made a ton of money and met Charles Lawton, who had a sister with whom he fell in love. They married, Twain and Lawton's sister, in New York in 1870, started a family in Buffalo, lost a child there, and in 1873 he moved to Harvard. Excuse me, he moved to Hartford, not
I was like
Harvard.
Harvard. I'm like,
No, no,
oh,
no.
that's I. We go to the Fourth of July parade over there. I was like, Harvard, Massachusetts is like
Hmm.
north of Worcester. I'm like, oh, we go to the
No, no,
Fourth of
no.
July parade there. Very
Hartford,
very nice town.
Hartford, Connecticut, where you
That
can
would make more
go.
sense.
Yeah, and you could. His house is preserved. It's right next to the Stowe house, Harriet Beecher's
Oh,
father. They had houses next to each other. They were friends, and it's a nice museum trip. It's like a stop. Apparently, Hartford was the Electric City back in the day, and now currently Hartford is roughly abandoned. It seems like so. That's one of the things you can actually do there. Um, Here, he wrote a lot of his most popular books. Starting in 1876, he wrote The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, followed by The Prince and the Pauper, Huckleberry Finn, and A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, all of which was written on the front porch of that home. He also became really interested in inventing, and this was interesting. He became good
I
friends with
knew that. I know. Doesn't
Nikola
he lose a ton of
Tesla.
money in an invention or something?
He eventually
And he gets
does.
really
Yeah,
bitter. Yeah.
yeah, he has a few patents, including an alternative for suspenders and a self-pasting scrapbook, which apparently both of them sold pretty well. But then he lost almost all of his money in this self-setting typesetting
Yeah, I
machine,
remember that. Yeah.
which would like work and then break. And by the time they fixed it, somebody else had a better one out there, and so he lost everything he had. Um, he did declare bankruptcy, but he eventually paid everyone back to the dollar. So he traveled around the world in order to do this. He became an international touring lecturer, I guess they call it. But apparently it seemed more like stand-up comedy. He seems to be like the inventor of stand-up comedy through these lecture tours, and that's how he was kind of able to raise the money to
And
pay
it was a funny
back
idea that it was like, yeah,
these
it was
people.
stand-up comedy, but they just called it a lecture. Because what else are we going to call it? They're like, we don't know what this is.
Yeah.
It's a lecture.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is where he had that famous thing about German language, kind of mocking the German language, which you
I
were
haven't heard that
doing.
one. That's funny.
Yeah, it was, he just basically make fun of trying to learn how to speak German in Hamburg, and it was apparently a huge hit. And then he went back to New York City, and he died there in 1910, having recovered a decent amount of his fortune. We're jumping today into the first of the Huck and Finn series. There seems to be four books in total.
Really?
Um,
Oh, I didn't even know that.
yeah, there's Huck and Finn Abroad, which comes out a little
Never
later.
read that one.
I have not read that either. What else comes
Was
out?
that after he lost all his money? And he was like, I'm gonna go back to the tried and trues here.
Yeah, oh, Tom Sawyer Abroad. So Tom Sawyer Abroad was published in 1894, so that seems
That's
like a
after, I think that's
yeah,
after he lost all his money.
yeah, it's a parody of Jules Verne. And
Okay.
then you know what was after that?
What?
Tom Sawyer, comma, detective.
Oh, I did know that. I totally forgot about. I think I read it.
Yeah, did you?
I went through like a Mark
Mhm.
Twain kick when I was in like eighth grade, and I read a lot of Mark Twain. I think I read it. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that's totally got to be after he lost all his money. I bet it's after he lost all his money because he was just like, we're gonna go back to the
Yeah,
Tom
this is
Sawyer.
1896, so this is much, much later. Um, yeah, God, what could this be? It's about he's investigating a murder mystery, and apparently it's a burlesque.
Okay.
It's a burlesque of popular. Okay, so he's
When did you
mocking
say
a
that one? When did
popular
the first one come
detective.
out? What year was it?
The Adventures of Tom Sawyer.
Yeah,
That
abroad. No, the
was
abroad one.
oh, Tom Sawyer Abroad was 92, 94.
Yeah, well, that's the year he filed for bankruptcy.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
totally what it was. He was basically like, "Fuck, shoot, I gotta go make money. Let me go back to Tom Sawyer and to
Yeah.
the name recognition." And he's like, Arthur Conan Doyle is really
Mhm.
popular. Tom Sawyer, detective. It's gonna refill those coffers.
Yeah. So it's apparently, yeah, Huck and Finn go and Jim, Huck and Jim and Tom
You'd
go.
think Jim would have learned to not hang out with Huck anymore.
They take a futuristic hot air balloon
Oh, that's amazing.
to Europe, with somebody named the Professor, and the Professor tries to kill Tom but falls out on his own. And so then the three of them have to go on a European trip in a hot air balloon. Um,
I mean, that's really bad. That is
oh,
really a bad,
yeah.
like,
Oh, but they end up in Africa, and then they have to fight African things
oh gosh, I gotta read that. It
and
must
go
be
to
a
the
train wreck.
pyramids
It
and
must be a total train wreck. I mean, that
uh,
has to just be
mhm.
he must have churned that thing out in like a month and just was like, all right, here we go. I'll pay everyone back.
Mhm.
Here you go. Tom Sawyer abroad.
Yeah. Yeah. So there we
That might have cost
go.
him a Nobel Prize. I don't know if they could give him a Nobel Prize after that.
Yeah, ironically, cost him a Nobel Prize because he had to make money. Um, but anyway, we're getting into the adventures of Tom Sawyer. Um, so this is my first read of it. I have not read Tom Sawyer. I've read Huckleberry Finn before, and very much like that book. I think it is worth its reputation.
Huckleberry Finn, yeah.
Yeah, I like this book a lot too, though.
It's fine.
It's fine. It works pretty well. The famous bits like him attending his own funeral or the
The
whitewashing,
whitewashing, yeah.
yeah,
They're all
they
funny.
hold up.
It's a
It
funny book. Like it's a good like
mhm.
when I was a kid and I read it, I was like, oh, what a funny book. And then I'm like, I'll read Huck Finn. I'm like, this book's not funny. It's not funny at all.
No, they
I still remember getting Huck Finn at the Scholastic Book Fair. Remember those?
mhm.
And I remember I was like, oh, and I was reading, I think I was in the middle of reading Tom Sawyer. I didn't know anything about Mark Twain. And, I knew obviously his name and I knew a little bit about him. And I was reading Tom Sawyer and I'm like, oh, there's this other book. It's like, is this the same Huck Finn? I'm like, it
Mhm.
is. It's the same guy. It's a sequel. I should spend my 3.95 for this paperback copy of,
Mhm.
I can still picture the cover of it, of Huck Finn. And I vividly remember getting it, being like, "Oh, this is really cool. I didn't know there was a sequel."
Mhm.
I was been reading that.
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting. They're kind of somewhat different in terms of genre, I think.
Oh yeah, they're not even close to the same.
Yeah, there's something there's a lot of similarity in terms of the tone and in terms of the style, which is massively appealing. But I reread recently Huckleberry Finn. I didn't realize how much. I think it's been maybe since I was a child since I've read it, but it is like the Great American Picaresque novel. We had done a picaresque
Yeah.
episode a few episodes ago. I can't even remember now
Ken
which.
was the Ken. Oh, we did. It was Forrest Gump, wasn't it?
Forrest Gump, that's right. And
Forrest
we talked
Gump.
about
We
Candide
talked about
and
Candide.
whatnot,
Yeah.
but we didn't. We left out Huckleberry Finn in
Yeah.
there.
Again, I wouldn't have even thought of it. I kind of,
Mhm.
again, I kind of forgot about Mark Twain. He's kind of let's say he's forgettable, but he's
Mhm.
not like, yeah, I wouldn't have thought about it, but it
He's
fits.
not grand. That's the thing.
No,
Like
he's
other
not,
other
he's,
writers, be it Henry James or Tolstoy, which we're going through right now,
yeah.
are certainly they have their episode of grandness where you're going to go, okay, I'm gonna write my 700 page masterpiece.
But even
Uh,
if it's not, if you, it doesn't have to be long. Great Gatsby isn't particularly
mhm,
long, but I think it's a very good book. I'm not sure it quite deserves its reputation, but I think it's a very good book.
mhm.
And that's sort of it has a certain level of grandness despite its shortness, its brevity.
Yeah, I would say at this period, grandness, great books
Grandness means big books, yeah.
it means big, right? And what you see is the modernist movement that's coming, after he dies, after Twain dies, that tends to be the grand tends to be like the kind of hermetically difficult style.
Yeah.
And so you're not interested in big anymore. Of course, Joyce combines these things because he's James Joyce and he can do that. But I think that's the difference here. And Twain isn't interested in big or grand. He's interested in childhood.
Yeah,
That
tight.
seems to
Yeah,
be.
sort of. Yeah, I mean, yes, I would say he does seem to have a interest in childhood. I would say he generally has, and I think it's the he has a particularly interest, which Tom Sawyer doesn't do as much, although it does do, but it does it more for humorous effect. His later ones do it less for humorous effect and more for commentary effect. But usually, it's a child seeing the world and how the child sees the world. It's sort of the that defamiliarization that oh, what the child describes makes me realize that the institution or the thing that he's describing is kind of silly. Like it makes you think about the institution because we're used to it. The child is not. So how the child experiences it makes the reader experience something in a new way or forces them to see it in a new way. And I think he is very good at doing that. Uh, and that's what Tom Sawyer is sort of doing, but it's doing it more as like a quixotic Don Quixote charging at windmills sort of humor. And just it's meant to be fun. It is making a little bit of commentary on things, but not really. It's pointing out the silliness of Sunday school, but that's a very different type of
Mhm, mhm,
humor than sort of pointing out these sort of absurdities of slavery. But
mhm.
that's a different form. But
Yeah, his intention, as he says in the beginning of the book, is just to remind people of the sort of silliness or lack of sophistication, however you want to call it, the odd superstitions prevalent among children. That seems to be that's what he says at the beginning of the book, and that seems to be
it's what it
exactly what
what
he's
it does.
trying to do is he's trying to restore that the book is intended mainly for the entertainment of boys and girls, but that's what it does. And you're right that the social commentary comes in later. I mean, it comes in with Huckleberry Finn, which, as you're saying, has this kind of commentary, really, I think, somewhat clever commentary on slavery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the scene in that book where Huck Finn is going to write the widow about the about
Yeah, yeah.
Jim running away, and he's like really torn up that he's not telling her that her slave has run away, and then he rips up the letter and goes, "Well, if I'm going to hell, I'm going to hell," and
All
that's
right, then
that's
I'll go to hell. Yeah, all right,
yeah,
then I'll go to hell.
that's
That's it.
just his attitude. Yeah, that's just what he takes, and it's odd because throughout the book he is worried about being a bad person for not
Yeah.
turning Jim in. He's genuinely worried about it. Like and not in terms of will I get in trouble, but will I be
Will
a
I? Yeah.
bad person for not doing this? Will I be morally corrupt? And yet there's
And and obviously the reader there's a level of irony obviously to that the reader is kind of wants to tell him no, you're being a good person, but yeah, this it's this the institution of slavery corrupts the morality, the natural morality of a child. The child naturally knows that this man should be free, but the institution has corrupted him so that now he feels bad that he himself is doing something wrong because of it. I think that's sort of I think that's part of the idea that the
Hmm.
institution has corrupted morality in even a child's head, their exposure to it. And it's a great device. It's a great way, it's a great literary irony that you're setting up for the reader to experience.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's also the child who is capable, therefore, probably most capable of making that kind of break,
Yeah.
or maybe it's not the child, maybe it's the kind of rebellious child, the
The
mischievous
rebellious child
child.
is able to realize it because not to say like they're used to breaking the rules so they can break another rule, but to some extent that's true. They haven't been paying attention to the stupid rules, and so therefore they're able to recognize the really problematic rules, the hypocrisy
Mhm.
of some of the rules, and they're able to notice that more readily than an adult could, because an adult at least nominally thinks they're following the rules for the most part.
Mhm. Yes, and Tom Sawyer, as you're saying, doesn't do that as much. Tom Sawyer is interested in, these kind of little funny ironies that don't have maybe a lot of
No,
relevance outside of their own container. I mean, there's the one thing with the whitewashing that Twain makes the observation that if you pay to do something, you'll enjoy it. And if others pay you to do it, you will hate it and it will be work. And
no.
it doesn't matter
Play
what
is
the
whatever
act.
the body is not obliged to do. Work is whatever the body is obliged to do.
Yes. Yeah. And that's fine as far as it goes. It's a funny scene and
It's a
a
good
kind of famous
observation. It's
scene.
funny,
Hmm.
but
That's
not revolutionary.
yeah,
Not altering the world.
yeah. The character of Huck Finn is very different in this than I expected, than in the sequel book. Um, in Huckleberry Finn, he's a bit more of a blank, I would say, that upon the adventures can go. He's not entirely a blank. He's not, like just absent. But he is,
It's not
um,
like I am camera, I don't think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But he
You ever read
is.
that, Christopher Isherwood?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, Christopher Isherwood says that the whole idea is that the narrator is a blank. That's his idea. Is I am a
Hmm.
camera. I
Hmm.
am, I don't actually. I'm just observing the world and reporting it.
Hmm.
And so the character is in the book doesn't tend to have a lot of character.
Yeah.
It's like you're far more interested in the yeah, why am I blanking on her name? The one from Cabaret. Uh,
Oh, Sally.
Sally Bowles. You're far more interested in Sally Bowles, which is the part of the point. She's a much more interesting character. But the main guy is very bland. He doesn't really do
Hmm.
anything. He's very much I am a camera. I just reporting what I see. Uh,
Michael York in the movie, but I can't remember the character's name.
but even that, which again is, I
Part of it, yeah.
mean, because he has a little more sort of that straight-laced kind of quality
Mhm.
in the movie that sort of breaks down in the face of Sally's love of life kind of thing.
Mhm.
But the what is that term that they use, the like magic pixie girl or whatever it is,
Mhm.
yeah, that she's sort of one of the
Yeah,
earlier
she's the
versions.
original Magic Pixie Girl, yeah.
Is that what it is? Is it magic pixie girl? I mean, I feel
Hmm.
like I'm missing a word in there. It is magic pixie girl.
Hmm.
But it's like her and she and Holly Golightly, one of these like the classics, of that type. Uh but I have no idea where I was going with this. Where did
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, we were talking
but
about Huck Finn. Huck Finn is a
Huck
blank. I'm
Finn,
like, how
well,
did we get
I don't
onto
think he's a
Holly
blank.
Golightly from Mark
Yeah,
Twain?
I say I don't think he's a blank. He's more he doesn't have the mystique. Other people don't treat him with mystique. In Tom Sawyer, other people treat him with
Yeah.
mystique. Right? That's the difference.
Because in
So
Tom Sawyer, he's the bad boy. He's the guy who doesn't go to
Mhm.
school, who just sits and drinks and smokes and fishes by the river all day. So he
Mhm.
sort of has that
He never has to wear
quality.
shoes. They're
Yes,
so
yes.
jealous because everybody else has to wear shoes and he never has to wear shoes. And so yeah, he does have this kind of mysterious quality, and he is the bad boy. In Huck Finn, he doesn't seem to be he's not that character really, and that's because we're seeing it from his perspective. It's we've moved from a third to a first person perspective, and so he's not going to see himself as the bad boy. And whenever Tom Sawyer comes, Tom Sawyer seems to be the one who is very, very inventive in
He's
Huck
the Don
Finn.
Quixote. You know,
Mhm.
again, there is a certain Sancho Panza Don Quixote quality to them, and Tom Sawyer is the is the Don Quixote character.
Mhm. Yeah. He's inventive. He has it well, it depends on the book because in this, one of the kind of Don Quixote things which gets them into the main conflict, which is the murder and the fact that they're witnesses to who the murderer was, is that Huck Finn knows a ritual for throwing a dead cat that will get rid of
Oh
warts.
no, I meant more in the Tom. I meant more in Huck Finn. That's their
Oh, in Huck
relationship.
Finn, yeah, but in
No,
Huck
in
Finn,
this
it's
one,
the
that's
other way
not totally
around.
true. In
Yeah.
in Huck Finn, that's their relationship. They're generally Tom Sawyer is the like we're gonna throw bees in, in there and we're gonna tell them and have it's gonna be an adventure. He's definitely that type. And then you find out it's like oh no he was already free. Why didn't you tell us? I mean that's the
Yeah,
humor
yeah.
of that
Mhm.
situation is that he's like because I wanted to have an adventure.
Yeah.
That's the Tom Sawyer in Huck Finn. In this one, it's still there. I think that they sort of have that, but it's less defined as to who fits which role.
Yeah, yeah, because it seems like Huck is a little more knowledgeable in this, and in the other one, it's as you're saying, like the person who's leading the charge is always Tom Sawyer, and Tom Sawyer in the Huckleberry Finn book is like infinitely imaginative. He just keeps coming up with things, and whenever they do anything, as you're saying, like they have to free Jim, they could just free him. They have the whole dug, but it's like, well, no, that's not how you do things. First of all, he has to make friends with all like snakes and what is it, cockroaches? He
Did they
has to
throw
make
bees in there? I haven't read
they
it in
throw
years. I think they
yeah.
throw bees in there. Don't they throw bees in there?
Yeah,
Maybe
there's
not.
some there's a scene with bees, I think, but it's mostly these like other bugs that he has to become friends with. Oh, mice, and he has to become like no, first you charm the mice before you escape, and he's just like just mice everywhere. These things are terrifying. Please, please, please stop.
And then he sends a letter telling them that someone's
Yeah,
gonna break him out, so they are out there with shotguns. Like,
yeah,
that's brilliant.
yeah, because it's you can't just let him out. There has to be an adventure to it. And he's just upset. He's going, well, I have to send them a letter because they'll just never figure it out on their own. They're too dumb. So we need to have um
Which
and
again
so
is funny.
it's really
It's just
funny,
that the
yeah.
stakes are higher, I guess, in Huck Finn, because that's the kind of thing that would happen in Tom Sawyer. It's just the style of the stories is the style is, as you said, often the same to some extent, but it's the stakes are higher, and so
Mhm.
you sort of you don't laugh at it in the same way that you laugh at Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm the stakes are somewhat. I mean, the thing in Tom
Oh,
Sawyer,
but
there
do
is a
you ever
light.
really, are you ever really
Really
worried that
worried that
Injun Joe is gonna get Tom Sawyer? Like the stakes are quote
yeah,
unquote high, but no one's, you don't actually worry
you
about
know,
it. You're not like,
it's
oh,
okay.
they're gonna die in those caves. One of them's gonna eat the other one in order to survive. Like you're not actually thinking that anything bad is really going to happen,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
suppose.
there's
Yeah.
no real sense of actual danger.
Yeah, well, with Jim, something bad could happen to Jim. That's
Yeah,
the
and that's I mean
supposition until the end.
there is a sense here that these stakes are
Hmm.
high. Something bad could happen to this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but moving back to Tom Sawyer, or moving back to both of these books, and they're kind of easy to talk about together, so I think we could just keep doing
You
that.
kind of have to. I mean,
You
they
kind of
really
have
are. I
to.
think they kind of are the same. And unfortunately, I don't remember the. I don't. I never read the In Europe one, and I don't. I kind of. I don't know if I finished it, but I kind of remember starting the Tom Sawyer Detective one and being like, "This is awful." But so we don't have to worry about those ones. We can
Yeah.
consider those
We,
non-canon.
yes.
Uh,
Um, yeah, but looking at these two, it's interesting. They seem to be for a lot of writers, Faulkner and Hemingway said this both, that American literature doesn't really start until Mark Twain.
I'd be willing to go with that. There's not a lot
Yeah,
of. Do we have anything? Poe is pretty good.
Poe is pretty good. Poe is. Yeah, Poe, I don't think is working on this level. He's feels like what we call a genre writer.
Yeah, but
I
he's a
get
really good genre writer.
he's yeah,
Like,
he's good at it. I'd say like you get if
I
you
guess
like
I guess I understand your point. There's
yeah.
the literature as an elevated art.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, is there anything particularly good prior to Mark Twain in
In
America?
poetry, you probably see more of it. Like you see Mark,
We have good poets.
yeah,
We
we
have
have
good
Walt
poets.
Whitman is a good poet.
I don't like Walt Whitman, but I appreciate Walt Whitman. I don't like Walt Whitman, but I appreciate Walt
Yeah,
Whitman.
it's a huge job
Yes, it
he's
is a
doing.
massive, massive change.
Mhm.
He is an incredible. I just don't particularly like it,
Yeah,
but that
fair
doesn't
enough.
mean that I don't think it's that
Hmm
it's earth-shatteringly good.
hmm
You know, I can think something is very good without liking it.
Yeah, fair enough. But I yeah, so I think the poets are there. The plays are miserable.
Oh, we have there's no place. There's no
There's
place.
no night like 19th century authors. I tried to
I did a 20 page, was it 20 or 25 page paper on theater in America
Hmm.
in the 19th century. Oh my God, it's unbearable. I read some of them. They're so bad.
Did you read Gaslight?
No, I didn't read Gaslight.
Oh,
I read all these plays. There was they were mostly turn of the century like revolutionary plays. Like there so many lives of George Washington. So so many lives of George Washington or the Battle of Bunker Hill or all of them like oh God, these these are unbearable. Is Gaslight the one that they turned into the movie?
I don't know if they made it into a movie. Gaslight is famous for that was the first time you tied a woman to the railroad tracks.
Oh
They had that
yeah.
one.
I
Yeah.
haven't read it, but
Oh
no,
no, is it Lamplight? It might
Gaslight
be
the movie is
Lamplight.
where we get the term gaslighting from.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, what is maybe it's Lamplight it's called. No, Gaslight, it's not the movie where they change the lamp and say you're
Yeah,
crazy
no,
because you
the lamp hasn't changed. Yeah, no,
yeah,
yeah, no, I know what you mean. So, but
it's a different thing.
I mean, American 19th century American theater is non-existent. There's nothing. It is absolutely flat out abysmal until
Mhm.
you get to really Eugene O'Neill.
Yeah, I would
And
say.
then in the 20s we have a few good playwrights. Elmer Rice is pretty solid. Sophie Treadwell is very
Mhm.
good. Eugene O'Neill is very good. You know, that's where we start getting real
Mhm.
American playwrights. And then American drama sort of emerges as a
Mhm.
real contending international force. But prior to that, it's non-existent. And I don't know if we have any good liter I mean, Scarlet Letter, I don't like that book, but Moby Dick. Moby Dick.
Moby Dick. Moby Dick is what year is Moby Dick?
It's got to be 1850.
1856, I want to say.
I want to say he's
1851.
18. Yeah, I was going to say 1850,
Okay, okay,
1851.
that's a grand novel. I think that's a
That's a
really
great
Mhm.
novel. That's a great American novel. But it's different. It's very different from Mark Twain, and it no one notices it. This is like the voice. You know, it just kind of gets ignored. This is like the voice check of American
Mhm.
literature. Just no one really appreciates it until 19 teens, 1920s.
Mhm.
I don't think Moby Dick is just gone until then. So that was almost ahead of its time.
Mhm.
Um, is they say Moby Dick has an all. I was debating this with my brother, who he read it and he despised it. He was trashing it, saying that he just thinks that he thinks that basically Melville was kind of a douchebag who read a lot about whales and just wanted to tell everything that he knew about whales. And I'm like, to me, I don't think that's what's going on. But maybe. I don't think that's what's going on, but I think it's like an American Ulysses. Like it's just it's Ulysses before that was a thing. And if Melville had been living in the 20s, he would have written a really cool Ulysses-like novel about whales, and
Mhm.
it probably would have really blown people out of the water. But I think it's that's the great American novel before that. There's just we don't have a lot. The Scarlet Letter is
Yeah, Scarlet Letter
mediocre,
is 1850. So
and I don't like that
Hawthorne
book.
is working around this time. Yeah, so you do have that kind of transcendental movement, but I think the transcendental movement's greatly overrated.
Oh, it's the only thing we got. I mean, that's
That's
why,
it.
you know, that's why we study it. It's
Yeah.
why all the American, because if you're the poor teacher who has to teach, English teacher has to teach American lit, what are you going to do? You're stuck doing Cotton Mather and Ben Franklin's autobiography. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't have anything in the 18th century. We got nothing. 17th
No.
century, we're barely surviving.
Mhm.
18th century is really bad. Like our literary output in the 18th century is bad, just bad. There is nothing good there. In 19th century, what are we going to do? They need to teach something.
Mhm.
So, so they
Yeah.
teach
Everybody does Scarlet
transcendentalism.
Letter.
They're like,
Mm.
you know what? This is the only thing we got. Yeah, you're like, we're going to read Scarlet Letter and we're not going to subject you to Moby Dick. So we'll probably have you read Billy Budd and, and you'll read some Poe. We'll spend a little time with Poe at least.
Read Emerson. Emerson's worth reading. Emerson
I never
has,
read any Emerson. I
yeah.
probably should.
Yeah, Emerson is more worth, I think, far more than Mr. Live in the Woods and
Oh, Thoreau. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and just journal about it and then go home to his mom. She could do his laundry. I
Longfellow has some fun. I like
Longfellow
Longfellow.
does. Yeah, yeah.
Like, and as we said, poetry's pretty decent.
Poetry tends to be a little better.
But transcendentalism is such a
I
trash
think, yeah, and
philosophical movement. I mean, it's total trash. It's the only thing we got. It's the only
mm,
thing that you could vaguely argue is a truly American style.
mm,
We don't get anything really unique until jazz. It's just like then America starts being like, "Hey, we produced a real art form that no one else had."
yeah. Yeah, I
But
suppose that's true. I think Moby Dick's unique, but it's not a unique work of
no, you're
art.
right. But it's not a unique philosophy. It's not a
Yeah.
unique thing. Like we're producing individual works
Hmm.
of art that are good, but
Not
we're not
new
we're not
genres,
there's
and
no
jazz is one
genres,
of
there's
those.
no new forms.
I think we win when it comes to genre movies. When it comes to like studio produced genre pictures,
Yeah.
we more or less have America more or less develops that and develops it in the 1930s. But you're right. It's like the great innovations are when you see innovation as opposed to individual work, when you
Yes,
see
I think
American
I guess that's what I
innovation,
mean. Innovation. But we're trying
is
to
the
present
20th century thing.
transcendentalism as if it's an innovation, as if it's I guess unique isn't quite the right word. As new, I guess is what I mean. A
Mhm.
new thing that we produced. We don't produce anything new, like totally just like no one's ever done anything like this before. Moby Dick might be an exception. Some of our poetry is quite unique. I do think Emily Dickinson's actually pretty unique,
Mhm.
but that's not no one knows no one knows she exists. Again, she sort of has this Wojciech feel of just of a piece of great work. By the way, and Wojciech, by what I'm referring to, is like Wojciech was this really great play written in 1820s, 1830s, probably 1830.
1830s, I think,
I think it's
1830s,
1830
or
by
it
this
was
guy named
discovered
Buchner. I
then.
think it's 1830. I think he wrote it by this guy named Georg Buchner. It's a phenomenal play. It's one of the greatest plays ever written. But it was completely incomprehensible when it was written in 1830. Like no one could have understood what the heck this thing was. And then it's found in like a chest of drawers in like 1890s, I think. And once it sort of shows up then, it's still ahead of its time. I mean, nothing's going to come out like it until 1920s
Mhm.
as far as this thing. This thing is 90 years ahead of its time.
Yeah.
It is, I don't know where the heck he got it. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's one of the greatest plays ever written. But no one knows about it.
Yeah, it's written in 36.
Okay,
He
yeah.
dies in 37.
It's not
It's
defined till 1890, isn't it?
published in 1837, but nobody cares.
Nobody
It
cares,
doesn't
yeah.
get a performance until 1913. That's when it gets its first performance in Munich. Is
But I think it's
1913.
found in like 1890. I think
Is that
it's
when
found in
people start going
And
a
I
little
think people were
crazy
like,
about it?
"Whoa,
Yeah.
this is crazy! Look at this thing!" And they still
Hmm.
don't know what to do with it. It's not until you probably get the sort of
Oh.
really avant-garde stuff that's beginning in the teens and explodes after World War One that you start to see something like this. So this guy's way ahead of his time. So someone like Emily Dickinson, she's not that far ahead of her time. But some of these writers are just they're so good, but they're not, Melville and Dickinson and some of these guys, but they're just not
They're
unknown.
kind of
And
like alone in the woods.
yeah,
That's the feeling you get with American literature that's good at this time. Like Melville was known. He was actually a
he did some stuff.
popular
He wrote
guy.
all didn't he write all those like sex books about the Tahiti and stuff?
Yeah, yeah, he did those. And he became like apparently he was a minor. He was a somewhat of a celebrity because I remember when he got married, there was this idea of like, oh no, all the women are gonna run to the church and cry because Herman won't be available anymore. And if you look at pictures of Herman Melville, thinking about him as like Ringo Starr or something like that is just really, really funny. So he had some celebrity, but as you're saying, Moby Dick was not a successful book. It was quite a commercial failure in its day. And Emily Dickinson, nobody knew her. Emerson was known, he was
No, yeah,
popular and he gave lectures. But even Whitman was like, didn't publish a lot in his day. So there's this kind of sense of um, people alone in the woods
yeah,
writing. And if you're kind of a genius, you go into the woods alone and write. And
or very
Twain,
transcendental. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. And Mark Twain seems to be the guy who didn't do that. He seems to be the guy who combines commercial success, popularity, his own celebrity. He cultivates an image and he knows how to
An
market it.
international celebrity,
And
as
an
you said,
international
he's
celebrity.
well known in
Mhm.
many countries.
And he does it with, and I think this is unique. He does it with American dialect.
Hmm.
Right. He's like kind of the genius of American dialect. You get that with Moby Dick, but it's not American dialect, it's ship dialect.
It's sailor, yeah, it's sailor speak,
Sailor
yeah.
speak, yeah. You don't really have it with other people, and not at least people who are monstrously successful. You actually, ironically, you probably have it on stage. You probably have a lot of dialect on stage, but nobody's reading that stuff because it's absolute crap. This is where you have a masterpiece that uses dialect. And like most books who use dialect, it's probably a very small percentage of the actual written words, but it is what crafts the poetry or the feel of the book. And I think that's why people think of him as why Hemingway and Faulkner say he was the birth of American literature.
Yeah, I think it's
Because
true. I
Mhm.
think you could certainly make that case. Yes.
Yeah, because it's an American sounding literature. It's not just from here.
I
Um,
guess the thing is like if you had Moby Dick and someone said that it was a translation of a Dutch novel, I probably would go, yeah, I could see that. It
yeah.
doesn't, it is an American novel in sort of its attitude, but it could just as easily be a translation of a novel from another country. If you
Mhm.
told me that and I read it, I probably wouldn't question it. I would never, if you gave me Mark Twain and told me it was a translation of a Dutch novel, I'd be like, well, that makes no sense. That doesn't make any sense. It's clearly not. So that's probably maybe the unique thing. And even Emily Dickinson, if Emily Dickinson's poetry was written by a recluse in, from Northampton or whatever, whatever
From England,
Northamptonshire, Northampton,
Mhm.
Essex, sure. You would go, well, okay, yeah, that seems about right. This Mark Twain is American. That is a
Mhm.
quintessentially American voice. No other country is going to produce that work. Maybe
Mhm.
that's how you could really look at it.
Yeah, and that's I think that's anyway my theory why people give this the credit for kind of launching America as having a language all its own. Yeah, him and Noel Webster, I guess, would be the two people who are responsible for this. Um,
And that's why, we still spell color differently
yeah, yeah,
and pronounce it aluminum.
yeah, not lieutenant. Um, lieutenant doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any
However,
sense, but
no matter what, whatever.
aluminium, if you know.
Is that how they say it
Yeah, they
in
say
England?
aluminium.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah, isn't that
fine.
stupid? Aren't they
It's
stupid?
different from us.
It's
That's
different from us. You should pronounce it wrong.
oh, all right. Yeah. So, any favorite episodes from this classic here?
No, I mean, yeah, it's all good. I mean, they're
Yeah.
funny. I mean, the whitewashing one is funny.
hmm
The funeral thing is funny.
Yeah.
For some reason, the episode with the tickets and memorizing the Bible verses and getting the tickets, I have remembered that like
hmm
constantly. Every time I hear a Bible verse, I think like, oh, if I memorize that, I could get a ticket. I don't know
hmm
why that of all things has stuck in my head for over 20 years.
hmm
It has just been embedded in my head that you get a ticket if you memorize a Bible verse. No idea why.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very
That's a,
Protestant.
yeah. Yeah, I suppose it is. Um, a, a general question about this book, just related to the Nobel Prize and what have you, is I feel that these two books would actually be very good contenders for the Nobel Prize. Um,
Now, not then.
well,
Oh, they have such a stick up their butts then. Like they're
they,
taking themselves so seriously. They would never give it
mm,
to a comic writer.
mhm.
You know,
Yeah,
they're
I
giving
suppose that
they're
would
giving it to
be
the 17-volume history of Rome. They're not, you know,
not
I mean, like
giving, yeah.
seriously, like they're giving it to the, you know, the 1,200-page book about farming. They are not
Mhm.
they are not giving it to the funny book about painting fences. They're just not.
Yeah,
Like
so maybe
they're
yeah,
so serious. They take it
mhm.
so seriously, it seems like in these early years. There's nothing funny. There's nothing funny in any of these things.
No, I suppose it would be closer than Ibsen or Tolstoy, just because there is a sort of purity to what you're reading, because you're seeing it from a child's view. But you're right. The
Yeah.
thing that separates it is the comedy. It's performing likeness. Both of these books are performing likeness. Tom Sawyer actually is. Huck Finn isn't, but it knows its audience, right? It knows what it has
Yeah.
to do.
I also don't know if his later works might have, you know, th those works are not. I don't know how much you've read of some of his later stuff.
No,
He
not anything.
he gets really bitter.
Oh, really?
He gets pretty. He is. They are not funny.
Mhm.
Later on. Like if they're trying to go with that idealistic thing, you know, for example, Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court is a commentary on imperialism, and it is not in favor of imperialism. It is very
Mhm.
much against imperialism. And so it's like the anti, you know, they're giving it to Rudyard Kipling at this point. Rudyard
Mhm.
Kipling is writing about the white man's burden. And then, you know, and actually the Connecticut Yankee is in response to that poem.
Mhm.
He essentially writes Connecticut Yankee in response to the white man burdens poem. And you know, basically saying, no, get out of there. Stop going into these countries. You're going to destroy them. And I don't think that was an idea that was popular at the time. But and this is what I say, like he's sort of just bitter about it. He's just looking for everything that's wrong with the world. In this
Mhm.
case, he probably was right. But he sort of has this bitterness. And Pudd'nhead Wilson is just a it I don't know if you know the plot of Pudd'nhead Wilson. Plot of Pudd'nhead Wilson is it goes back. It's post slavery, but it's a like a black family living on a plantation, and essentially the white woman, the master's wife, gives birth on the same night that one of the black women gives birth, and they realize when they're looking at the children that the black woman has given birth to a very fair-skinned child, and the white woman has given birth to a fairly dark-skinned child. So the black woman switches them at birth and says, "At least I'll know my child will now get to grow up in the big house and basically grow up that way." And the whole plot of it is basically that the child treats her like garbage the whole time. And so it's basically just this commentary on like it's not the color of your skin, it's how you're raised, and people are awful to one another. Everyone is awful to each other in that novel, and it's basically just that's the plot of it is people are awful and they will treat each other terribly.
Mhm.
And so I just think
Oh.
like if you're the Nobel Prize Committee looking at this book, it's Pudd'nhead Wilson is great. It might be his most sort of just Huckleberry Finn is his best book, but Pudd'nhead Wilson just sort of has this just caustic attitude towards people. And I think
Mhm.
I don't think, you know, given the approach that the Nobel Prize Committee has at this point, you read that book, you just go, wow, people are awful. Everyone's awful. They're all terrible to each other. And that's the point. Not the color of your skin. We're all terrible. That's kind of the point of it, which, you know, there's a certain sense of, well, he was egalitarian, but but it was, he's just very bitter, I think, towards the end of his life. And so I don't know if that also hurt his chances to some extent, that they're looking for these idealistic novels, and here he is basically talking about how bad people are.
Mhm.
It's sort of like Prince and the Pauper. Have you read Prince and the Pauper?
No, I
That's
think I've
another
only read
great.
these two.
Yeah, oh, okay. So you know, as I said, I read a lot of Mark Twain back in the year. Prince and the Pauper is another classic. That's one where these two boys, you know, there's a poor boy on the streets, and then there's the rich boy, you know, who's the son of Henry VIII. I don't remember which one he was. The only one that lived. Um,
Oh,
which is the only one that lived?
Edward.
Edward. So it's Edward. And the boy, I think, for some reason sneaks into the castle. He falls into the castle grounds or something like that. And they realize, hey, we look exactly like each other. Isn't this really funny? Let's switch clothes. So they switch clothes. And then someone walks in and is like, drags the peasant boy out because they're like, you shouldn't be here. And they drag the peasant boy out and throw him out. And they're like, don't worry, Lord. If he'd stayed here, we would have killed him. And so the peasant boy is terrified. Like, I can't say anything. He's dressed as the prince now. And so he's like, I can't say anything. And so now it's the two of them experiencing each other's worlds. So
Mhm.
it's sort of like, and it sort of has this sort of, again, it's this idea of children looking at the responsibility, a peasant boy who thought it would be great to be the prince and be king, seeing like, whoa, this is rough. And the king going out into the streets being a pauper and going, whoa, this is rough. And so it's this idea of seeing the world through children's eyes. You grow to see the world differently, and they grow in the process. Whereas Pudd'nhead Wilson is a similar concept, but they're switched at birth, and it's just like, whoa, no, they don't end up better. No one ends up better. So
Mhm.
it just he sort of has this. He's taking earlier novel and just sort of reinterpreting it in a fairly cruel, not cruel, but he's not. I don't think he has a very different perspective later in life,
Mhm.
and I don't know if that hurt his chances as well.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, that
So
is
he's
interesting.
not going to win the I think he's not going to win the Nobel Prize both because of his sort of and I also they're Europeans. They're not giving the Americans a prize. They're
Yeah.
they're clearly looked down. The American, stand-up comic is not going to win.
Gonna win. That's that's for the 1990s. That's when
Yeah,
you give it to them.
that's
The
when you give it to
stand-up
Dario
comic.
Fo and Jerry Seinfeld. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. I just there is a sort of love of the land, love of the river, love of the
yeah,
space that goes on here that is very consistent. It's comic in tone. It doesn't have this like this is the ancient soil that we the Norwegians are now cultivating. It doesn't have that feel. It just has that kind of you know, infinite play sort of sense that's what the
yeah.
river has. And that I could imagine being incredibly appealing to them if they had to look at it. But I think you're right, at least in terms of the what I know, which is the comic aspects. I don't think they're ready to give it to somebody who's predominantly working in what could be just dismissed as light comedy.
I wonder who
Um,
the. It'd be curious as we go through these. Who is the first person to win it? Does anybody win it? Who mostly is working in that? That's
Who's
sort of
mostly working in comedy. In the first generation, we have nobody, right?
But is that when did anybody
When
win
does
it?
it start to
Does it
happen?
ever start? I can't think of anybody in recent years.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anybody. I mean, I know they tried to give it to Charlie Chaplin, but they
Hmm.
didn't. But is anybody?
Is anybody who's like the first really good comic writer? I
I'd be
don't
curious to see
know.
that
Hmm.
is there a predominantly comic
Hmm.
writer? I can't think of anyone.
Hmm.
And maybe there's one that's sort of a lesser known writer, but of the major writers, I mean, Beckett's funny, but he's not funny. He's not funny in that sense. Can't think of anybody.
No, I mean, they make the point of like maybe like Saul Bellow
Is he
or
funny?
a lot of it's kind of funny. Yeah, a
I
lot of
haven't.
it
I don't
it's
think
like it's kind of like exact. He also writes another American oh God, what do you call it? Wandering around picaresque. He writes another
Picaresque.
American picaresque novel that's pretty funny. That's like a Jewish picaresque in Chicago.
Actually, that does sound kind of funny.
Yeah, yeah, that's and he has a number of
When did
these.
Saul Bellow win? I didn't honestly know he did win.
76.
Oh, I didn't know he did win.
Yeah, so that might be someone to look at in terms of somebody who's actually working in kind of a comic mode.
We've got a lot of we've got a lot of years before we're getting anybody
Yeah, I
funny.
know. Yeah, we got like another year, but more
Oh, we've got
more
like 2 years before we get
before we
anything.
get to the
We get through this.
1970s. Yeah.
The
Um,
70s we're just got to 1918. We have
yeah,
60 years and we're gonna be doing these in between ones where we're gonna we gotta get these other, losers in there.
yeah.
Um
Yeah,
all right, we gotta move to the movie. We gotta get to the
okay, yeah,
movie.
we got to get into the movie. Um, let's go to it. So the movie
It's
is,
charming.
yeah, directed by Norman Taurog. Everybody knows Norman Taurog because at the age of 32, he was the youngest Academy Award winner for Best Director. He won it for that classic movie Skippy that everybody
Oof.
loves.
Is it the same Skippy comic character that the peanut butter is named after? You know that
Um,
the Skippy is named after a comic character, right?
I didn't
The
know
peanut butter.
that. It's
That's a
like a
branding. That's a brand. That was a
it's a pre-code comedy film based upon the popular comic strip.
yeah,
It's like a kid who's picking
yeah.
his nose. Okay,
That's
yeah.
that's the Skippy. So Skippy
So
peanut butter. Yeah, so he's the
the
Skippy peanut butter director.
the youngest person at the time between let's God, 1931 and 2017 has won it for a movie about peanut butter.
Yeah, that was
Presumably.
bad.
That's
Well, the movie
bad,
isn't
yeah.
about peanut butter. It's that the peanut butter is about the
Character.
character.
But anyway, so he directed it, but I think the bigger name is obviously David O. Selznick, whose name is
He's the
I
Gone
think
with the Wind dude, isn't he?
he's the Gone with the Wind dude. And apparently this is why the movie was a little sloppy because he started to get interested in Gone with the Wind. This movie comes out in 38, Gone with the Wind comes out in 39.
Yeah, he might have been busy.
Yeah. And if you know anything about the process of making Gone with the Wind, the sort of script
Wasn't it
writing
a train
process,
wreck?
oh, it was an absolute train wreck. Yeah, because they
I
brought
don't know
in,
anything about it. All I know is it was really bad.
yeah, it was basically it was the legend was it was him, Victor Fleming, who directed it. Oh, Selznick, Victor Fleming, and then Ben Hecht. And if you
Yeah,
know
who
Ben,
knows?
Ben Hecht wrote The Front Page, which became
Oh, I
His
love
Girl Friday.
yeah, I
Yeah,
love that. Yeah, oh, yeah, I
yeah.
know that one.
And so apparently they just like
Have you ever
locked.
read the play? The play's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I've read the play. I just honestly, I watched the movie this
I
morning
love that movie.
because I taught it in class. I teach a film class, so I taught
Oh, that's fun.
His Girl Friday
I
to a bunch
love
of
that movie. I think that movie's
really
so
bored
good.
teenagers. But yeah, no,
And
the
they don't
movie's
laugh at it. I mean, I guess they're not gonna care.
they don't care. I mean they were assigned to watch it at home and then we're going to look at scenes, but they don't, like trying to keep them awake is mostly what I do in that class. But
Oh, I
anyway,
love that movie.
yeah.
Anyway.
But anyway, so they like locked them in and Ben Hecht was just apparently was like, this is the worst book anyone has ever written. And it's like 1100 pages. What I don't want to do this. And I guess this O. Selznick was just he just barreled them into making this thing happen. Um, but yeah, anyway, so while he was doing that, apparently he was finishing up on his
Because
other
I didn't think about the years.
Technicolor.
In my head, it was like, oh, of course he's going to do this. It's because he's the Gone with the Wind dude. He's putting his name behind it. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think that this is before Gone with the Wind. This is during Gone with the
Yeah,
Wind.
it's cheering it. Yeah. And so he does this. The big
He's
thing
not,
was
it's not, this isn't Tom Sawyer, this isn't Tom Sawyer produced by the guy who directed Gone with the Wind. It was like, did you know the guy who did Gone with the Wind did that Tom Sawyer movie last year?
yeah,
It's like, it's
yeah,
like when you
yeah,
find out like Peter Jackson is going to direct Lord of the Rings, you're like, isn't that the dude who did that horror movie that
yeah, with
in the
Michael J.
90s?
Fox and the
Yeah, like what was that movie that he did? It
it
wasn't
wasn't
the
the others, it was like the
wasn't the Faculty, it
Phantoms.
wasn't the others. It was like
It was with Michael J. Fox, and it was called like the others was actually a pretty good movie.
The
It
Others is
was with
pretty good. I like The
Nicole
Others. I think that
Kidman.
movie's creepy. I think The Others is
Yeah.
creepy. I think it's a great horror movie.
Yeah, yeah. We watched that recently because it came on Criterion
I
for
would love
their.
to watch that. I love that movie.
Yeah, I like that movie too, and I saw it in theaters, and when I started to watch it on Criterion, I don't think Nicole Kidman is that great in the first scene. I think she's better in the movie, and I went, "Oh God, this is going to be much worse than I remember." And no, it was The Frighteners.
Oh, The Frighteners. I was like, it's not The Faculty. That has Elijah Wood. I was like, it's not
Uh,
The Others. I was like, that's not related. The Frighteners. But I feel like that's a similar. I wonder if that was the similar mood of like, wait, the guy who directed The Frighteners is gonna do Lord of the Rings. That must have been a similar sense of like, wait, the guy who produced that Tom Sawyer movie is gonna do Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he was moving up at the time. This movie, I don't believe was that successful. And I think it just got buried underneath what he was doing
There's better
later.
movies. I mean, the movies
Yeah,
are just better at the time.
because well, I mean, he's working. This is UA release, so United Artists releases this. He produces it. Um, Gone with the Wind gets released by MGM,
MGM,
so
yeah.
he must be moving into MGM as this
But
is
wasn't
going
there like the
on.
whole thing with MGM distributed it and because of Clark Gable, wasn't
Mhm,
it? Because there was a whole controversy with Clark Gable, and they
mhm,
MGM ended up producing it because they wouldn't give up Clark Gable. So in order to get it, so I don't think he was like working with MGM. It was like in order to get the star that he wanted,
mhm.
he had to distribute it through MGM. I think it was something like that, wasn't it?
Maybe I don't know. I don't remember at this point.
I don't know if it's that he's moving up in the world as much as it is just MGM owns Gable.
Yeah, and so they have to do it that way. Well,
Yeah.
that might have been that way, but I mean, regardless, he does move up in the world because he then
Yeah. Oh,
becomes
clearly. Yeah.
associated with MGM, and he makes the most profitable movie of all time.
Yeah.
Um, and he makes this, which is in Technicolor, which
He's
is a
very proud that it's a I always love when they have like Technicolors played all over it.
I didn't realize, like I was learning about how they made Technicolor and how it was marketed. Apparently, it increased the budget by 30% using just the Technicolor, and apparently it was just like that was the special effect.
Yeah.
That was like
That was the
like
3D.
I
That
was
was,
about
you
to
know,
say, yeah. That was
that
stuff.
was Avatar. That was the
Mhm.
Avatar. Then they,
Yeah.
and it was like, and you just had all these eye gouging use of 3D, and then you had eye gouging use of Technicolor.
And I will say
Color was a better choice.
yeah.
3D wasn't good when Avatar did it.
No. But
You know the worst way to watch Avatar?
on the front row looking up.
Yeah, in the front row,
Mhm.
trying to watch that movie.
I
Oh
never
God.
I haven't seen it in 3D. I saw it in 2D and thought, well, I never
I
ever
figured I'm
needs to
gonna
see
have to see
this.
this thing in 3D. I thought everyone's seen it in 3D. I'm gonna go
Hmm.
see it. And I went with a friend of mine, and it was like four of us, and we went. It was like we went to like a midnight showing,
Hmm.
and I still remember I told my friend I was like I went into the theater and I came out. I go, we couldn't get tickets, but they were all sold out. I got some tickets to I don't even remember what movie I said. Like she's not that into you. I just got us four tickets to that, and he was like, oh, okay, we'll go see. And I was like, I'm kidding. I got tickets to Avatar. But by the time when we got there, we got into the theater and everybody had gotten there ridiculously early. And yeah, we had front row seats to Avatar. 3D is your head will be bursting out of your skull if you watch the 3D movie from the front row. Like, my God, I eyes and everything hurts. That's a
Oh,
terrible way to watch it. At least
yeah.
Technicolor didn't do that.
Didn't do that too. Yeah, I have no interest in revisiting Avatar, so I will never see it in 3D, I don't think.
No, it's a terrible movie. I loved the fact someone goes, they go, it's a huge cultural film, right? And they go out on the streets right now, show them a major cultural film, any other major cultural film, like show them Darth Vader, they'll know who Darth Vader is. Show them the Joker, they'll know who the Joker is. Show them any of these other characters, they'll know who they are. Show them any character from Avatar. No one's gonna know who any of them are. Like it is the most forgettable great film, like or
Yeah.
great grossing film.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. You'll know the Avengers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
you
never
know.
seen any of the Avenger movies, but I can name them all. I can name them
Yeah.
all. My kids can name them all. They know every
Mhm.
single one of them.
Mhm. Yeah, but I don't actually remember the male lead. It's Jake Sully. That's the most
In Avatar, yeah,
interesting
I recognize the
name.
name. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, the most interesting name they could come up with. But anyway, moving back to Tom Sawyer.
yeah, Technicolor.
Technicolor. So things I liked, I thought Tommy Kelly as Tom Sawyer was
He's
pretty good.
pretty good.
He's
I
pretty
felt
good.
bad for him. Like,
Mhm.
and he's having that scene where he's like walking through the streets, kind of crying and stuff. I'm like, I really feel like bad for this kid.
Yeah.
You know, childhood is not easy. It's, you know, it has its ups and downs.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he has like a really nice sweetness to him. Like even when he's watching his own funeral, it's he plays the scene like he's really touched.
Yeah.
So I really like that aspect to it. I will say, um, the actor who plays Huck Finn, who is Jackie Moran, is about 15 in this movie. I looked it up because he looks like he's 20. He's he's like, what is he, 6 inches taller than Tom?
Yeah, I mean, he just went through puberty.
He just like, I feel like they cast him and then
Well, I think it's supposed to be he's. Yeah, I mean, it could honestly be that they might have cast him and then he sprang up 4 inches between casting and that, and they're like, we're not gonna recast this thing. Just put him out there.
yeah. Yeah, because
But he's
he
supposed to be probably slightly older. We sent the
mm,
Huck Finn feels like he's a little more mature. I think is kind of the idea. But I
he's
think
been around
they
the block. Yeah,
yeah. But,
a few
but to
more
your
times.
point, they probably cast him when he was 14 and he grew 4 inches over the summer. And they're like,
Mhm.
oh God, like.
It
Not
was
only do his shins
distracting.
hurt, he's enormously taller than the rest of them, but
Yeah.
he's stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a little distracting. Though I have to say my favorite bit in the movie was when they returned from their funeral and everybody's hugging everybody and they just cut to Huck Finn and he's all alone.
Oh, that was
And
sad. Yeah,
that was really sad. That was really effective. Because in the book, eventually somebody just goes up to him and hugs him
yeah.
so that he has a parent figure there. But they don't do that in the movie. They
No.
just let him be alone, and it's a nice little sad moment that works really well. Um,
Did you know that we have seen the guy who played Injun Joe before?
no, who plays Injun Joe?
He's the guy who played Oberon in the Mickey Rooney Midsummer.
Oh, wow.
It's the same dude.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, how did you? I would
How did
never
you how
have.
did you miss that?
I don't know. How did you see that?
I didn't. I did look this one up on Wikipedia because I was curious. I'm like, did any of these kids do anything after this?
Hmm.
And then I looked at him. I'm like, oh, he's Oberon. I would
Yeah.
never have noticed it.
Yeah, that the God, who directed the Max Reinhardt
Yeah, yeah.
one, yeah, who actually was the person who directed the first Wojciech production. So
Oh, I
it's
didn't know that at
all
all.
turns in a circle.
Hey, hey, turns and turns, and it's all
It's all
interlocking. We
connected.
plan
It's
this,
all
folks. We
connected.
plan this.
Yes, it's a Marvel Cinematic Universe style thingamajig. Also, we have Walter Brennan in this, who's pretty good. He's the guy who gets arrested for the murder.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I
Yeah.
did. Yeah,
Yeah, this is um
Gus or whatever. What is his name? Gus
yeah,
Guns, Gun Growth.
mm,
I don't know.
something.
Anyway.
But this is his Oscar winning year. This is where he wins his second Oscar for Kentucky. That classic film Kentucky.
Never even heard of that one.
Muff, that's his name, Muff
Muff. Yeah, I
Potter.
was like, Gus, Gus, Scuff, Guff, Muff,
Scuff. Yeah.
Scuff.
So Walter Brennan, he's fine, which is I was surprised how small his role is in this for a guy who's,
Again, this was
an
like
Oscar.
studio. This was like studio acting. They were like, we need a dude to do this. Just go there and film it for a
I
day.
mean, yeah, I guess so. He's an Oscar winner though already by this point.
Yeah.
Um,
Or he just really liked the book and wanted to be in it. He was like,
wanted
oh,
to
I
do
really
it,
like
yeah.
that. Can you put me in it? I
Or
can
he's
only film
under
for. I can only film for
contract.
3 days. Yeah, I'm under contract. Can only go for 3 days.
Yeah,
Can
you
you just
do
put me
that.
in this? They're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Um,
Even his little scene, I kind of liked his little scene in the jail where he was like,
mm,
"Everyone's left me, and you guys are the only ones who are showing up and giving."
mm,
It sort of has these little sweet moments of like charming moments,
yeah.
of just like, oh, it's kind of sad. This guy,
Yeah.
everyone's left him, and he's sad and in prison, and
Mm,
they brought him cigarettes. Like there is just sort of a
mhm.
there's sort of a again there's a charm to it. It's
There's a
not
charm to it, which is honest in the book. It feels like it's coming right out of the book,
yeah
is that they're these like sweethearted people, these kids, that being mischievous and being sweethearted kind of goes together in this world. And I think one of the problems with the movie is it sometimes gets styled up to 11 in this
yeah.
picture. Like Sid is gets far too much attention here.
Is Sid the
Annoying half
Yeah, I
brother.
mean that's clearly just the like Aunt May. Yeah, they
Mm,
just
yeah.
they just made him into a. He feels like something out of the Little Rascals.
Yeah, and then, and something gets thrown at him, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
They dial that thing up, but things that seem more difficult. the ending? Do we want to talk about how it ends from how the book ends?
Yeah, sure.
It's a little it was a little confusing, and apparently it was a big problem with the studio. So in the book, Tom and Becky go into the mines. They get lost in the mines. They realize that Injun Joe is in the mines, and he figures out, oh, he must have the treasure here. He gets away from Injun Joe. He whatever, escapes the mines with her on his own. And then what ends up happening is the town boards up the mines. When he realizes that, he says, "Oh no, the Injun Joe's in there." And they realize Injun Joe has starved to death. In the movie, he gets caught in the mines. Injun Joe finds him, and then the Injun Joe is trying to get him. And so he hits Injun Joe with something.
It's the door knocker, bro.
It's the door knocker. Is that
It's
what
the
that was?
brass handle from a door knocker. They've
That's
been
what I
trading it the whole movie.
Yeah, that's what
You
I
fool, how did
thought.
you not realize that?
But didn't he give it to Becky? Doesn't he not have it anymore?
No, she gave it back to him. Remember, she threw the note out and said, "Give this to Anna, whatever her name is."
Oh, okay. And he threw the
Yeah,
knocker? I
because
don't
he
remember
gave
him
it to
giving.
her. He gave it to her, and then
Hmm.
she was all bitter because he was engaged to the other girl.
Yeah,
And she
I
said,
remember that.
yeah, and
Oh,
then he's walking by her house when he's really sad
mhm.
after the sugar jar got knocked over and he
Mhm.
got hit and he's all sad and then he's walking down the street all sad and he's like, I'm gonna go see Becky, and
Mhm.
he's like taking the stick and he's like rattling it on the fence and then she
Mhm.
throws something out the window and he's all happy and then he goes and picks it up and it's the door knocker.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that. Maybe I didn't see that scene.
No, it
Um,
was there.
no, okay. Fair enough. But anyway, he hits Injun Joe with the
It is
his
a surprisingly there's it's I mean it's everything sort of follows one another. It's there's not.
no, 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 there's not okay. He hits Injun Joe with the knocker and kills him. He falls
Yeah,
off
it
and
falls into his
dies.
yeah. If we had the that scream, what is the scream? The scream from like
A
the Star Wars
Wilhelm
movie. Yeah, the
scream?
Wilhelm scream. Yeah, that
Mm,
would have been a Wilhelm scream moment. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that would have been a Wilhelm scream moment. But we do get Becky screaming her goddamn head off
Yeah, that
to be
was
the
weird.
end of the movie.
That
And we
was
cut
weird.
to a child screaming in terror as her other childhood friend kills a man who's trying to stab them with a knife. So it's a different
And then she starts
ending.
laughing and the like ha ha and like the crazy
Yeah, like she cries so much she goes to start like giggle crazy.
yeah,
She goes
and
giggle
then
crazy.
she goes catatonic and
Yeah. Yeah. So this
I don't know
child,
why they did, why. I don't know if they
yeah.
wanted to just add a little bit of extra tension there.
Apparently it was like a big problem between Selznick and the director, where they're just like, no one is gonna want this. No one's gonna send their children to this and be like happy that they're watching a little girl have a psychological breakdown. But yet they kept it. I don't know how he convinced Selznick that no, we do need the psychological mutilation of this child in order for this movie to be successful.
And then it's like, and then he climbs out to the light, and then you're like, oh gosh, it's like, what are they going to show up? And then it's like, ah, they're all smiling and happy at his celebration.
Mhm.
And then
Yep.
they just walk in being like, they find Muller's treasure. Huck and fucking Tom are rich. I'm like, well, Huck didn't do jack. Why is Huck getting the money?
Yeah, in the book, he does something to get the money. They get the money from the house, and or they know where the money is from the house. So there's this that traces a little bit out. Um, that's a kind of it's a very, very, very odd note to end
Just
the
like,
movie
why?
on.
Yeah, the transition doesn't work. And I don't know why. This is one of those like, why did you do that? Like, why did you bother to change that? You didn't need it. I don't, again, it's like if you imagine it without it, does the movie work? I don't know. Maybe it ends on too positive a note. And again, I don't know if the argument was, well, we don't want to have the audience see Injun Joe starve to death, so we have to kill him off. And if the children did see him die, they probably would be fairly upset, so we can't not have them care. And so you're like, I guess we have to, in order to be psychologically realistic, we have to have them have a mental breakdown. I guess
It's
it's the only
obvious.
logic you could come up
Yeah,
with.
I
Is like
suppose them just getting out of the cavern without conflict and then Injun Joe just dying off screen is not particularly dramatic.
it's not particularly dramatic and it's kind of horrifying.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, you just like we have to have a confrontation, and I guess the
Mm.
idea would be like, well, if we're gonna have a confrontation, they have to
Win.
feel bad.
Have to win and feel bad. I guess yeah, you could have the cops come or something, but I suppose that robs agency of Tom, and then you would have the problem of how do the cops know about the opening? Um,
It's too many
there's too many
issues here.
problems.
What's Tom? Just have Tom murder a man.
You just need the child murder to happen. The child murderer to happen.
They should have just had Tom take the knife and stab him in the eye.
Yeah.
That would have just
That now Tarantino seems to be
now
back in the
Tarantino.
game.
I was
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, see
Yeah.
now it makes all
And the
sense.
blood
Now
could
we
just squirt out all over Becky.
Yep.
And that can cause her to scream
Yeah,
or go catatonic.
and now we have cause and effect. Now we have an
Mhm.
actual like reason for her to
Oh,
be
yeah,
upset.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Look at
no, I
that,
think we're
that
good.
like annoying zoom in that he does. That
I was waiting for him to take the frog and like throw the frog at
Mhm.
Injun Joe. That was what I was hoping he would do next, but
Yeah.
no, the brass door knocker.
Then Brad a Stalker. Oh well. So Injun Joe's dead, and then it ends with Aunt Polly slapping Sid right in the face as hard as she can. So there's just a little abuse there, and then we are out.
I mean,
That's
it
the
is a great
movie.
line. He'll
Mm.
be president one day if they don't hang him first.
Yeah,
That's a good line.
that's a very Twain line.
Yeah.
I feel like they had to take that from Twain at some point, but yeah, that is a good line to end on. Overall, it's a fine movie.
Charming. I
It's
just go, it's
charming.
fine.
It's
It's like
fine. I'm happy I saw it. I
we've
guess.
watched worse. I mean, we
Yeah,
watched much
much,
worse.
much worse. Yeah. Yeah, there's a Swedish silent film that we saw that was pretty bad.
Which was
Um,
the Swedish silent one?
oh, it
We
was
watched a
the
bunch of them.
adaptation of Bjornsson.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
about it.
That one had that really nice church shot. I still
Yeah.
think about that church shot though. Right? That was beautiful. The
Yeah.
rest of it was terrible. And
Yeah,
they
yeah.
spent half the movie looking for a sled. But the church shot, I remember just them looking at each other across the pews. I
Yes,
loved
okay,
that.
that shot. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. That's a
loved
good shot.
that
With the
shot.
you have inside. It's inside the church. It's the
Yeah,
frame.
I loved that shot
Yeah,
of
that's
them
a good
looking
shot.
at each other across the pews. I thought that was really a
Mhm.
nice image.
Is it the first 20 minutes that they're looking for a sled? It's
It's
like
like the
it's
first 20 minutes is them
they're
looking
just
for a
looking for a
sled.
sled.
And
And
they're
it's
like running over rocks and hills. And you're
there's
like,
no lighting. It's all natural lighting. It's painfully badly filmed. Then they're just looking for a sled.
yeah,
Um,
because like someone died. Why are they looking for the
I
sled?
don't
Whatever.
remember.
I a happy
Somebody's
boy.
sick, right? And they have to get the
They have to get a sled for something. Yeah, someone's
yeah,
sick
somebody's
or
sick.
fallen or
Yeah.
whatever it is. I'm
Uh,
the happy boy. I'm
no,
glad
no,
gut.
no. It wasn't an Glad right?
Oh, that's right. It wasn't I'm glad
It
gut.
was
It was the lady's name.
Slivian
Yeah, whatever her name
Slaflian,
was. Yeah, it was the
whatever.
lady's name. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that was
But
the
yeah,
worst one. But
but yeah,
this
this
was
was fine.
better than that. Yeah. Yeah, this was fine. I guess we'll leave it there. I don't need to see this again.
No, the worst movie was the Spanish film one.
Oh, of Jose
Yeah, Jose
Echegaray,
Echegaray. That was pretty
the
bad too.
Gran Galliato.
Yeah, the Grand Galliato. That was pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, they were both. Yeah, they were both pretty
Both pretty rough.
they were
But
both
yeah,
pretty
this was
rough.
fun. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
But yeah, Twain's cool. Never was gonna win a Nobel Prize, but
No,
he's
he
cool.
never was, but probably deserved it. He was a lot better then.
I mean, he's clearly better than most of them. Like if
Hmm.
they had been like on their A game and picked the best people, it would have been like Tolstoy, Ibsen, Twain. Like that would have been a
Hmm.
good sequence.
James,
Henry
Henry
James
James.
doesn't die for a little while though. They could have given it to him later.
1916, he does.
18, I thought, doesn't he? Well, either way,
Hmm.
they have time.
Yeah.
Um, they've got time. But if you did, that's what I'm saying. But they should have done like Tolstoy set the bar high.
Hmm.
Ibsen, don't particularly like him, but you know what? He's the best playwright living at that time. Maybe that maybe, but you can't give it to Chekhov yet. Then give it to Mark Twain. Be like, you know what? We're gonna recognize comedy as well.
Hmm.
Then you can do Chekhov, and then you can work your way down the line. That would have been if they were on their A game.
Hmm.
But No, no, no. We have to give it to Ein Glad Gut.
Yeah, and and Sully Prudhomme,
Silly Bruto.
the
Bruto.
greatest
The one
poet.
poem I still would love to. I've tried.
It's
I
the
still keep trying to keep
vase,
an eye
right?
out for that. Yeah, he did the vase. It's the only one I've read, the vase.
Hmm.
But I'm still trying to keep an eye out for that. The guy who, the German who wrote the
Hmm. Oh,
17 volume history of Rome. I've been trying to find it. Can't
Theodore,
find it.
yeah,
Reiser? No,
Thompson.
that's a different person. That's the Sister Carrie dude.
Hmm.
Um,
That's Dreiser.
Dreiser. Yeah, Theodore Dreiser.
Hmm.
Um,
Theodore Mumson, I think his name
Mumson.
was,
But
right?
it's like, yeah, that could be interesting. I've been trying to
Mhm.
find it, but you can't. It's just not
I
available.
think I saw it on Audible. Apparently, you could get
Oh,
each
you mentioned that. Yeah.
volume individually on Audible. So if you want to listen for 80 hours to the history of Rome,
Not
um,
sure. That's
what is
spend a
it
lot of
like?
hours in the car.
Mhm.
Um,
You
maybe.
can
Maybe
listen
we'll
with the
listen to volume one.
kids. Mhm.
Well, they want to listen to they keep wanting Egyptian history. So we've been doing the great courses on ancient Egypt.
Mhm.
Uh, but Rome, maybe we'll do Rome next. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, Rome will be good.
Then we'll make them listen to the rise and fall of the Roman, or the decline and fall of the Roman Empire.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but no, I mean it's fine.
Yeah.
It's good.
So next week we're going to be doing the great man himself, Tolstoy, and his wonderful, wonderful book. I didn't mean that sarcastically. I know it sounded sarcastically. Just
We've done so many bad ones that
yeah. It's also I'm like seven books, seven volumes into it, or seven books into it, into Anna Karenina, and I took a break at a certain point today because I was just I am a little tired. This is my third time through it, so I'm
I've
you
never
know
read Anna Karenina. I've only read a
uh
little bit of Tolstoy.
yeah.
I've read Ivan Denisovich. Not
Hmm.
Ivan Denisovich, that's Solzhenitsyn.
The
Ivan
death of
Illich.
the death
I
of
read Ivan
Ivan
Illich.
Ilyich. Hmm.
And I've read a couple of his short stories
Hmm.
in his play. I've read one of his plays.
I've read his play. I've read War and Peace. I've read this. I've read Revelations, which is one of his like not really well-known
I've never read that
novels.
one.
I've read Death of Ivan Ilyich and the Kreutzer Sonata.
Hmm.
That's like a real horny short story he has.
No, his play is very Desire of the Under the Elms kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that seems to make sense. But yeah, I'm 7 out of 8 books into it, and I just needed a break
I'm
today.
like 200 pages into it. I got 700 to go, so
Yeah,
it's gonna be a busy
it's it's
week.
it's wonderful. It's a
It
really,
is. It
really
is a
good book.
wonderful, wonderful
But
book.
there is a point where you're just like, this is overwhelming. I need to not not do this right now. But
Well, especially
anyway,
when you, yeah, no, no. I think it is a wonderful book. I look forward to finishing it. It's not like Jean Christophe where I just couldn't do it. Um, it's a very good book, but it's gonna be lot of reading over the next week.
all right, sounds good. So we are going to be doing Anna Karenina for our somebody who should have but didn't, Leo Tolstoy, and we will see you then. You can rate and review this show anywhere fine podcasts are available. For those viewing in YouTube land, if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the Talking Studios channel for all our exciting content, and follow us on social media at Talking Studios. Check out other shows by Talking Studios, including Talking Pictures Trivia, where we explore movies through trivia, Keep Making Movies, where we explore micro-budget films, Limited Lexicon, where we play through text-based adventure games, and Get the Point, where we slowly reveal a movie poster and try to guess which movie poster it is. Got a question for us? Call the Talking Studios hotline at 201 467 8679 and leave a message. It may be featured on a future episode. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Adapt It, wherever fine podcasts are found.
Wow, Talking Studios.
Mm. Next week, we'll be covering Leo Tolstoy and his 1878 novel, Anna Karenina.
And if you started it in 1878, you might have finished it by today.
Boom. So, continuation of our No Noblers. And Pat, were you to hire a director for this film, who would you absolutely not pick, or who would you pick? Your choice.
I would pick in keeping with the person who actually directed it. I would pick Simon Langton. He's the guy who directed the TV version of Pride and Prejudice that we
Oh,
did.
okay. Yes, the BBC. He's a
Yeah, the
BBCer.
BBC version. I
Hmm.
would pick that guy.
Oh, okay.
Um, I think because this particular one is directed by whatever his name
Joe
is.
Wright.
Yeah, which is like I'm like Joe no, Joe normal name,
Joe
Joe Wright.
Normal
I
Guy.
mean, it's like if you Google that name, I'm like, if I look this guy up, is he even going to show up with it?
Yeah.
Is it going to
Mhm.
give me 17 LinkedIn profiles first? But so yeah, so Joe Wright directed the Pride and Prejudice that the one with Keira Knightley, and then he directs her in this person, Anna Karenina. So I think I would correct some of the movie, and I would get Joe Langton, who did the Pride and Prejudice version, a more traditional Pride and Prejudice. I think Anna Karenina needs a more traditional director. So I think Joe Langton could have done a nice job with it.
All right. Very good. Yeah, I haven't seen there is the long mini series of Anna Karenina that I actually have on my television, but I haven't watched it yet. It looks kind of like BBC boring.
Yeah,
That's sometimes the problem with a lot of the BBCs is they can be ugly and just dull, even if they have very good actors. But so I
but that Pride and
haven't.
Prejudice was pretty good. I liked the Pride and
No,
Prejudice
that
that
Pride
we
and
watched.
Prejudice was good.
That
Yes.
one was pretty good. That's why I would get him.
Mhm.
He handled that material well.
He could do it for Anna.
Probably not, but I might regret that that
Yeah.
hiring. But
When we revisit this episode in a few years and we have to watch the 18-hour long BBC Pride and
yeah.
Prejudice.
All
Yeah.
right, you. What about you, Tom?
I'm gonna go with George Stevens.
I don't know who that is.
George Stevens directed Giant,
Oh, that no. Oh, Giant. Oh, the one with Yeah, yeah, yeah,
James
yeah.
Dean.
The one with
Yeah.
James Dean. Yeah. Okay.
George Stevens is known for these giant pictures, like these really big, long, epic open space movies. And he seems to like just larger than life storytelling. I think he did A Place in the
That's good. Yeah.
Sun as well. I don't think he would be able to get the subtleties of Karenin or of
That's the
Anna.
problem. It's like it's really hard. I don't know who you would like really get like to direct a good
Yeah,
version. I don't think you do.
I think it would be very, very difficult. You probably need like like somebody who's dead, like Renoir or somebody like that could probably maybe do it justice.
I mean, the thing is just. I mean, I think maybe we'll get into it next week. It's like Russian novels don't. Tr it's not just that they don't translate the language well; they just don't translate to other media
Mhm.
very well. I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's why we don't have very good Dostoevsky as
No,
well. There's
Dostoevsky is
just
even harder. I mean, it's just the way that these Russian novelists write. Like they're writing novels. Like it is geared towards that particular form, and pulling it out of that form, you almost always break it. It's like Joyce. Like these are people who are writing the greatest novels, like the greatest form. Like they are doing the form better than anyone else, and trying to then move it to something else. I don't know that it works. So.
Mhm. I agree with you. I don't think it works for, like you're saying, it's the reason of the novel. It's so interior,
Yeah.
the subtleties and the what's interesting about Anna Karenina, what makes it not just a love story is these sort of interior dynamics that aren't attached to an action that a character or an actor can play that makes it very, very hard to
Yeah, we
adapt.
should talk
So,
about we'll talk about the mushroom scene. I love the mushroom scene.
okay, we'll
It's
talk
like a
about
perfect
them.
example of that.
Okay, very good. So, see us next week when we cover our other no nobler, Leo Tolstoy and his novel Anna Karenina and the Joe Wright adaptation starring Keira Knightley
And discuss the mushroom scene.
and discuss the mushrooms.